Today, it's Kathleen, Paul, and Beige, or Beige, Paul, and Kathleen in Japan. This is CheckPoint.
Good morning, afternoon.
Or anywhere else
Hello.
where they read right to left, I suppose.
In some places, it still is morning, right? It's just morning the next day.
Yeah.
Right.
It could
Hello,
be morning.
Yeah, like in Tonga.
Yeah, or Australia, I think. No, it's at the evening in Australia, isn't it?
They're 8 hours ahead of us, so they would probably be late it'd be like,
It was a late night talk show for them.
yeah, it's like, whatever. Yes, okay. I'm having, yes. Someone will tell us. It's evening in the EU, so it has to be morning in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That makes sense.
As a left to right note, I remember I worked on a project at one point I was working for a company that designs museum exhibits, and we did a project that had a bunch of, it was in Israel, so it had a bunch of Hebrew writing in it, like it had the English and then the Hebrew.
Right.
And so we got somebody to, we sent the English to somebody to translate, and then it came back, and then I was laying it out, and then they're like, "Can you lay this out for the panels and stuff?" And I'm like, "Okay, I can lay this out, but you have to send the layouts back to the guy who translated it to let me know so he can check to see whether I messed something up with laying out English without getting like weird, hyphens or widows and orphans and stuff is hard enough.
Yeah.
Laying out a language that you don't know, and a language in which it's not using the Latin alphabet, and it's right to left. I'm like, I could have broken lines in the middle of words. I have no idea. You have to check this out again. And that actually has come up occasionally in back to CheckPoint stuff, in CheckPoint episodes, where people want to have either Hebrew or Arabic writing,
Right.
in their game, just
right.
as stuff in the background or whatever.
Yeah.
And it if you don't do your research on it, you can end up with things that you don't expect, or you don't intend to be written.
I think that's because I think we even did a story one time about how people were, there was something in an Assassin's Creed or in like Prince of Persia or something like that where there was like chanting. That's like, that's what I want. I want that Arabic chanting. It's like, that's a prayer you're using. You're using a prayer. Please don't do that.
Just to backtrack for a couple minutes there, Paul dropped the phrase laying it out without getting widows and orphans. If you're not familiar with typography, that probably sounded weird and scary. That's where you have little words like dangling.
People die.
Paragraphs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was like 150.
I think it's weird because you always hear it together.
Yeah,
but I
they're
believe
different.
Well, I believe widows is a single word and orphans is two words. At the extra pair, I think that's how it is.
I'll have to. It's been a long time since I've had to worry about text layout. That was a problem when I was in my student newspaper when I was in university. Yeah, basically, you know how you have a paragraph.
Widows at the top or orphans at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah. And like sometimes you'll just get one extra word that's left over from a paragraph because of how like a justification works, right? And so a widow is at the top and an orphan's at the bottom, and it looks really bad.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things that is very it's actually kind of interesting because they're kind of difficult for a computer to
detect.
Not to detect. I mean, it can see that there's only one word. But it's hard for a computer to optimize for it because you often have to actually know. You often actually have to take into account the context, like the actual what's happening in this story or whatever, to know where you can safely break it to change it. the layout properly.
I mean, my sneaky thing was to just take the sentence that was one of the sentences that was making a widow, and like see if I could just like change the kerning by like 0.01 or something just for that sentence. So it's basically indetectable, but it's enough to like scooch up.
Yeah.
The last like -ed that the computer had so helpfully put onto a separate paragraph and another at the top of another column, right?
It's the old the old like essay thing. You just make your margin a little bit different.
Well, I mean, my thought is like probably there's better typesetting tools out there nowadays, but this was quite some time ago. So
Anyway,
maybe you don't have to do stuff like that. I mean, I was using Quark Express because we're not like a hip with it student newspaper. So
anyway, welcome to ChillPoint, everybody. This is the show that is kind of like CheckPoint, in the sense that we talk about video game news, but CheckPoint is a nicely edited and written, like 3 or 4 minute bit, whereas this is us just kind of rambling. Because what happens is what we used to do is we would record CheckPoint live, and then we would talk about all the stories afterwards. But due to our current circumstances, we can't record CheckPoint live, and so we are doing this, and then we record CheckPoint afterwards, and then CheckPoint will go up either later tonight or tomorrow, and then you'll be able to watch it then. But before it goes up, we can talk about things.
I just find it really funny that we just did a Loading Ready Live where we make fun of the consistent euphemisms used to refer to everyone staying at home. And then you used one of them just now.
It is, yeah.
It's like nobody wants to say anything about the current circumstances. We don't want to just say it out loud, or else we might catch it.
Yeah, it's like Voldemort.
you don't want
to catch Voldemort.
don't want to get the Rona.
Yeah.
Yes. It's also because there's a variety of different things you can say that are they're more or less accurate depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah.
For instance, quarantine is not correct because at least here in BC we're not under quarantine technically.
Yeah.
Exactly. Except when people are, but mostly we're not.
Yeah, we are voluntarily staying in our houses.
Yeah, everyone's doing something a little different, and I think in BC, because BC's never actually been under any of those like shelter-in-place ordinances or anything like that. They're just basically counting on us to do the right thing. They've had some very like polite like public health addresses, like "Hello, could you please do this?" And for the most part, people are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but you don't want to just say, "Well, we're in the current us staying home situation."
Yeah.
Well, we're currently all being lazy and staying home.
Yeah. Did you know you can just do that? Did you know that you could just go ape shit and just not go to work and everyone can stay at home? And like, because it's the thing when you go to work, you're like, God, fuck, what if we just all stayed home and they just had to keep paying us? Because what else are they going to do? They can't fire all of us, right? And it's like, you're right. Looks like that's true, everybody. Rise up.
I mean, it turns out they can fire a lot of people.
They sure can.
Anyway, let's talk about gaming news.
Yeah.
I'm down.
So, the one of the things that we've started doing on the ChillPoint here is that we've been doing kind of a table read of some of the stories that are going to appear in the real CheckPoint later on. These are not necessarily the final versions of these stories, and in fact, you may hear us rewriting them as we are going.
Yeah, To be fair though, this is what we do when we like in the before times. Beige, Graham, and I would all get together and write stories and then read them to each other, and then go
usually, but yeah.
Oh, maybe just change this or just change that,
Yeah.
right? We'd sort of have a discussion within the moon base, and so now this is that now.
Yeah. I mean, more recently, we've also just been doing it at night, and you talk to each other, you get your headphones on, everyone writes the night before, and it's like let's have this time, that this is the quiet time when we can write shit, so we can actually sleep in the morning, and then also then you get to sleep a bit, then you get to read what you've written, and you're like, that was great at 1:30 in the morning. Is that still good now?
What was I thinking?
It helps that Beige, Graham, and I are all like degenerate late night people.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, do you want to get together at like 10:30 at night and write some stories? It's like, heck yeah, I do.
Yeah.
It's all the important video game news happens in the wee hours of the morning.
I bet you that's true for most of the people who write video game news, in fact. They're like, oh shit, I've had all day to write this. Fuck. It's due tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta pass this course or I don't get paid. All right, let's get. Do you today want to read the stories that you'll be reading, and then I'll read Graham's stories? Or
I think we were gonna work this out beforehand, and we didn't. Why don't we go Beige Kathleen, Beige Kathleen?
Okay,
because that's the stories you wrote, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect.
All right. Then I will lead us off. The Bank of Nook recently announced interest rate cuts, bringing them in line with other global lenders, hoping to forestall any continued hemorrhaging of the bell on international markets vis-a-vis the rupee, the zenny, the gil, the isk, and the capital letter G. If you thought that sentence was funny, then you'll love the recent article on the front page of the Financial Times weighing in on Animal Crossing New Horizons. The article acts as a great primer on both Animal Crossing and on aspects of global finance, all with a tone making both subjects easy to digest. In it, the authors seesaw between treating the Bank of Nook as if it was a real-life bank and talking about how a decision made in a video game mirrors the current moves of other real-life banks, even getting a hot take from a strategist from Societe Generale, a leading European financial services group. Animal Crossing players were also quoted heavily. One player lamented, "I'm never going to financially recover from this," with another dreading an island recession. One of the most surprising takes was from a Reddit user named Yellow Beehive, who said, It's a change to keep the game realistic. With interest rates on home loans being 0%, it makes sense that interest rates on savings would be minimal. The Bank of Nook isn't a charity and has multiple investments to maintain. This means one of two things has happened. Either the adults have seen us, or, horror, we are the adults now, and we can write about anything we want and get it on the front page of the Financial Times.
Yeah, it turns out the people who are writing the Financial Times are also playing Animal Crossing because everybody is.
And what's weird is like the one of them was in Tokyo, one of them's in Oslo. They're all definitely writing remotely, and I'm sure this was like more of a fluff piece that was like, this will be fine. We'll just write this thing. It's funny. The editors liked it. And they're like, this is good.
It's like we have literally nothing else to put on our front page
now. Like, we don't want to talk about terrible financial news. Let's put this on the front page, below the fold, but still the front page.
I feel like there might be somebody out of the loop who is just like, wait, bells? That's a thing now? We have to start investing in bells? All right.
I hope it's one of these things where
it's like some church gets like massive investments into their like bell ringing.
I would love it if somebody takes like their like maybe the Financial Times, there's an intern there who has a switch or something, and they start inserting turnip prices for the day into their stock ticker to be like, oh, bells closed today at 155. Or turnips close today at 155, like that kind of thing, just to see what would happen. Like maybe with like a little like Nook Inc. leaf icon or some shit in the corner.
I have no idea if people are I actually think that would go over pretty well. I think people should do it. I feel like Animal Crossing is basically going to be forever remembered as this cultural thing that happened right when shit hit the fan. So you know what? I think people will see it and be like, yeah, and like enough people will chuckle,
Yeah.
and it's just like an innocent joke for everybody.
I mean, it's actually quite. I mean, it's funny, but it's like the stock market, STALK.
Yeah.
Actually, like the it was not sort of built into the game. I don't think, from what I understand, but some of the stuff that people are building around the game, things like having the price for turnips is really high on my island, and setting up things where people can come, but they have to pay you sort of a fee to come to the island in order to sell your turnips. And all this kind of stuff is getting very close to a real a real stock market situation of when you get speculation, you get derivatives, you get futures, that kind of stuff. Like it wouldn't be very hard to move to have a situation where if somebody is like, hey, I'll pay you this many bells if you give me all of your turnips tomorrow.
Yeah. In fact,
regardless of what the current price is for turnips, I'm betting the price is going to go up, right?
Yeah, because I could only buy turnips. Like you can only buy turnips in the morning on Sunday, and I sleep in on Sundays because it's my God-given right, and so I almost always miss the purchasing window. But there's probably somewhere out there a service where I could go to somebody and be like, okay, I will pay you 200 bells per turnip today for your turnips, what you bought it or 250 or whatever, on the hopes that I'll be able to sell them for higher later. And even then, now I have less time. So it's like I'm paying you less, but you get a guaranteed rate of getting this many, and now I have your turnips instead.
People Ion Dream in chat saying turnip futures are already a real thing. And Beige, please remember that I have set Innsbruck back to the Honolulu time zone, so I can do my landscaping before it gets dark. Because I mostly do my Animal Crossing stuff at night after Penelope goes to bed, which for the first 3 weeks I was playing meant that Able Sisters was closed, and
Nook's Cranny's closed, or
Nook's
just
Cranny
closed.
is about to close in half an hour, and it's dark, and it's like, this is irritating and depressing. So I set myself back to Honolulu time.
I think that's a great idea. That also then means that you're our final bulwark. If anything goes wrong, it's like, shit, Kathleen's got really good prices right now because it's still 8 o'clock in the morning where she is.
Yeah, well, I mean, it means it's because we have a Slack channel where we just check in with our turnip prices. So it means I'm always late. But it means if you sleep in on Sunday morning, my prices might not be good, but Daisy May will still be on my island till 3 in the afternoon.
That's true. Holy shit.
Yeah. So if you sleep in, come to my island.
I guess maybe to elaborate a little bit more on what has happened here. I think we briefly talked about previously that there was an interest rate cut for the Bank of Nook when the new update came down. That they cut it from 0.5% to 0.05%. And people were like, that seems like a nothing change. Why would you do that? And it was because of time travelers. And I wanted to cram the time travel thing into this article. I'm like, it's already getting too long as it is into this story. But it's because people were getting a lot of bells, then zapping forward 10, 20, 30 years, which means that they would then have monthly compounded interest. And they'd make millions more bells, and now there's a limit. You can only earn up to 10,000 less one bell every month, and it's now also 0.05%. So it's like, what did this do? It's like, well, it slowed down the effects of compound interest, which means people can't time travel forward to make millions of bells and then come back to their normal time and have all this money. It's a problem that you don't have to deal with in real life, because nobody can time travel, right? For compound interest's sake.
I love the idea of inventing time travel solely to make long-term investments pay off.
Yeah,
You know what they should have done is, I mean, and this penalizes people, for example, who might be moving or want to do something, but like I feel like there. I wonder if there's any way to have the game detect if you're time traveling more than like 2 days or something like that,
Yeah.
right? And if it does, it wipes your bank account.
But I mean, if they could detect time traveling, they would be stopping it anyway, though, right?
Yeah. I think part of the reason too is it's like if your Switch dies, like dies, and then you end up getting a new Switch and moving your game over or doing whatever, like that kind of thing. And it's been like over a year since you've played the game, or even over a week since you've played the game, then it would wipe out anything that you've done. And I think they're trying to forestall that kind of activity as well. It does at least rot all your turnips. So if you were hoping to do turnip speculation, it's like, no, we're just going to wipe all your turnips. So that's something at least. And also, I don't care that a bell is now worth less than... Bells are essentially Reichmarks, I was saying last night. They are basically completely undervalued now. They have no value in any sort of way, shape, or form. And I'm like, that has no effect on my game. A grand piano is still 260,000 bells. It's going to always be 260,000 bells, and whether I have 14 million in the bank or 14 bells in the bank, it's still 260,000.
Right.
I'll buy it if I want it.
There's no inflation in the world of Animal Crossing.
You're Ariana Grande. You see it, you want it, you buy it, or whatever, however her song goes.
All prices are set by the central authority, as opposed to people being able to set their own prices.
That Ariana Grande quote? Hold on, I need to look it up because I feel
That's
like
fine. We'll vamp for time. Definitely, yeah. Paul. You're right. This is definitely a capitalism simulator. That's what everyone has gone on and on about. Is how.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. It's in that part. It's not
exactly. This is not a capitalism simulator.
I mean, it is in some ways, but the fact that the prices for all the items are locked in.
Yeah.
By Nook, I guess. He decides how much everything's worth.
Yeah.
Sorry, that Ariana Grande lyric should be, I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. Should be that. Anyhow.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Yeah.
All right. In lighter Animal Crossing news, the Metropolitan Museum of Art is not about to take the current trend of we're all trapped indoors and Animal Crossing is our only solace sitting down, not when there's an opportunity for art appreciation. The Met, as they call themselves, because it's New York and nobody has time for full names, has made their online collections fully available for use in Animal Crossing. Oh, that's cool, I guess, you say, a fool, assuming they are merely allowing rights-free replication of their vast modern art collection, should you so desire. No, say I, an intellectual who went to the Met once of times. It's so much cooler. Actually, I think I might have been to the Met twice. Maybe I should change that.
Well, I think you're... are you reading this one in the main story?
Yeah, I'll be reading it. So.
Oh, okay. I thought Graham was reading it. So, all right.
Yeah, I've been to New York multiple times. I used to have a lot of friends who lived there. Anyhow, that's not here nor there.
It's so much cooler.
No, say I, an intellectual who went to the Met twos of times. It's so much cooler. In the best gaming integration since Yelp added a Pokestop filter to their search, which was awesome. Shut up. You can browse the Met's online collection, and when you click the share button, along with the usual suspects of Twitter and Pinterest, there's a little Nook ink leaf, and clicking that will take you to a page that generates an Animal Crossing readable QR code, so you could just add that art to your game. For everything that isn't already square, you can even adjust the crop. This is so cool. I don't even care that everything looks like absolute warm ass once it gets crunched down to the resolution of an Animal Crossing custom design. It's just great.
It is just great.
Check this out. So we've got
self-portrait with a straw hat.
Yeah, from Van Gogh.
And I don't think Van Gogh is going to translate well into Animal Crossing, but we'll see.
Surprisingly, actually, I thought.
And I believe... Can I...
You see the share button?
Yeah, can I... wait, why can't... Oh, wait, of course. I can go here, and then, see, there's all the, things, and then it's like, what the leaf? I don't remember Animal Crossing. Oh. And then...
Oh, that's pretty good.
Isn't that surprising?
And so you can set, what part of it? And you can even.
Oh, just get bits of it.
I want just Van Gogh's eyes.
Oh, but that means you can make multiple tiles.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then render it at a much. Oh, you could have a huge wall that's just this.
I like that the QR code is actually. Like they're actually encoding the image in the QR code. It's not just like the QR code is a link to something.
Yeah.
So the QR code is actually encoding the full RGB value of every pixel.
Yeah. Which was what this used to be if you look at who the name of the tool that they're using, because it's like with grateful thanks to ACNL Maker Tool, I think is what it's called.
ACNL Pattern Tool, yeah.
Pattern Tool. ACNL obviously is Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the things I was saying this last night. What surprises me is that you have to imagine being an Animal Crossing fan for as long as you have been and designing these little tools and coming up with little things, because this was a thing that you used in New Leaf to be able to share custom designs between games, because that's how you would do it, is you would get a hold of the design and you could either like post that on Twitter or you could just have somebody scan it with the camera of their 3DS. But I'm like, you have to imagine being like a New Leaf fan now, like Heather is, where everyone's now playing New Horizons and they're all discovering this brand new stuff and they're all like, oh my god, did you know you could do this? Did you know you can do that? And you're just kind of sitting there being like, don't call it a comeback, I've been here for years, right? Like, you've seen all this stuff happen, and now you're seeing hundreds of thousands, millions of people all indulging themselves in the same stuff that you were into and discovering all these tools and finding new ways to extend all these tools. Whereas before, it's like 5 years ago, nobody was going to put that on the Mets website. But New Horizons is the zeitgeist now, and so it's like, now you have this, and now you can put that in your New Leaf game too if you want to, because the same thing will still work. It's like, wow.
Is the idea that the QR code creation algorithm like something that Nintendo made publicly available, or is it something that people like kind of worked out on their own?
I actually don't know. I would assume that they did not make anything publicly available, but they might have based it upon an algorithm that already existed.
Right.
But I mean, you can actually use like the Nintendo app on your phone to scan QR codes that you've generated on like the New Leaf pattern creator. So I assume it is like got a lot of official Nintendo like it's got to be an official Nintendo thing, right?
Well, but like they could have, the pattern creator, who, you know, whenever they originally did it, they may have disassembled what the pattern creator does, or how it generates them.
Yeah, which is probably not difficult to do, but at the same time, it's like this could also be based off of an encoding algorithm that already exists for QR codes. To be like, if you have a QR code that has like a certain bit of information in one part, it's like, use this RGB encoding method to represent what it is you're currently looking at. That could just be part of how QR works. I'm not actually sure. Because you can use them for just about anything. You can encode whatever you want there. So it could be that Nintendo was using an already existing algorithm, or they might have come up with their own, and then naturally someone reverse engineered it. And if you click on the link that's in that, where it's like made with ACNL pattern tool, it takes you to a GitHub page, like not even like a nice website or it's just a GitHub page. It's like, this is what this is for. Here's all the code. It's all open sourced. You can use this. And it's like, that is definitely not a Nintendo thing. They're not open sourcing that.
I was all excited I wanted to do I was like, oh yeah, somebody suggested a Mondrian would be perfect, but this particular one doesn't seem to be available in. So I don't know. Of course, I don't know what presumably they have a certain collection that's available as a Animal Crossing thing, but.
So I do want to point out that if you are wanting to do like use this, I recommend going to the AC Pattern Creator tool like website, getting your image, doing it that way, because then you can actually edit the what they interpret as their like scan. Because I've actually done that a couple of times to get like I wanted some Marimekko fabric in my game, and I hadn't unlocked patterns from Able Sisters yet. because they were always closed when I went to go play. So I got some some vintage Marimekko fabric, and then scanned it in. But it needed quite a bit of cleanup to like look good at the Animal Crossing resolution. But then it looked real nice.
Yeah, I
So.
mean, obviously, we have the world in general has a fair amount of experience in pixel art already. So, just get in on that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, if our recent stories about Riot's Counter-Strike for Watch style tactical arena shooter Valorant and its absolutely wild anti-cheat software didn't dissuade you, and you want to get in on the closed beta, here's a quick primer on just how the hell to do that. You gotta get a Riot Games account and a Twitch TV account and smash them together with glue and verification emails, then park your ass in front of a Twitch stream of someone playing Valorant. Eventually, if you've been a very good gamer this year, RNGesus may reward you with a drop, in which will be your access to the closed beta. Then you can stream it too, and also be a part of the disease vector model. This rollout plan has been going astoundingly well for Riot, as Valorant view numbers are even stronger than the new hot stream game would even be normally. For Twitch, on the other hand, it's causing some new issues. This system incentivizes streamers to stay online for longer because they're assured decent numbers, because ravenous have-nots are camping any Valorant stream to be allowed into the secret club. But streamers are incapable of actually staying online 24/7 safely, and the drops won't drop for a Twitch replay stream. So some streamers are going live, but just playing video of their own VODs so they still get viewers, even if a bunch of those viewers are bots looking for codes to snap up and sell. And while Twitch hasn't figured out how to deal with the bots, or it doesn't want to, it has updated its community guidelines to prohibit pretending to be live when you're not, just so you can earn passive ad revenue from desperate gamers. Modern technology is amazing. We're finding new problems with it every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, like reading this, I'm like, you motherfuckers, like it's hard to stay online 24/7. We've proven that.
Can I make a little suggestion to the first line? I think you could say, hey, if our recent stories about Riot's Counter-Strike Counter-Strike Verwatch tactical arena shooter, rather than style, Counter-Strike Verwatch style tactical arena shooter. I think the style is too much of a mouthful.
Sure.
You stumbled on it.
I didn't write it, so
I know, but
feel free to change it whatever you want.
I recall there not too long ago we did another story about people running pre-recorded video and pretending it was a live stream as a thing that people were doing for they were actually running video of popular streamers that have since left Twitch to go to, say, Mixer, like Shroud.
Yeah.
Who left Twitch to go to Mixer. Someone will create a Twitch account called The Real Shroud or Shroud 250 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then just play a recording of his previous gameplay as a live thing. And people would be like, oh, I guess he's back on Twitch.
Yeah. It's so this happened because of course it happened, right? People are like, well, people will drop in and watch me play Valorant, and so why don't I just mark myself as live and do that? And I'm like, because the big problem here is that when streamers go live and they're playing VODs of Valorant, when they're not actually live and they're playing the same thing over and over, it's actually pushing people who are actually live further down in the listing, because you're seeing oh, well, Valorant's very popular, so here's all these popular streamers, because that's how Twitch's algorithm is supposedly works. It's bubbling the more popular people up to the top, the people that you probably are watching the things that you want to watch. And that's I mean, I would object. I do object, because it's, we're trying to stream as well, and we're, fairly popular, but it's if we're having to compete with people who aren't even using the platform the way it's supposed to be intended to be used, which is to have people have interaction. Hello, everybody in the chat. It's so slimy to me. Like, it's like, if you're doing that kind of shit, I'm kind of like, that's really like, and we've talked about, you know, being able to, like, what if we played stuff when we're actually offline? It's like, sure. But then if we did that, we wouldn't be live. We'd say this is a replay of something else. This is us putting other things up.
Yeah, and I mean that's to be fair, there are lots of interesting things that you can do with either using Twitch's own built-in replay system, or replaying stuff as a video, but making it clear that this is a replay. I don't think there's any problem with that. It's just pretending something is live when it's not.
Yeah,
is obviously not so good.
Somebody had a truck backing up in their apartment.
And I mean,
That was me.
And Twitch knows that. And I mean, I'm surprised that this wasn't already against their terms of service, but
yeah,
obviously they've now changed it, so it is.
It's weird that it's this sense of like, because I remember Alex at one time was like, I'm gonna make chashu pork, so I'm going to have like a camera showing what's going on my stove, but it has to sit for several hours. So he just had the camera on his stove, and I think
unattended, which is a little
And you can't have an unattended stream, right? You have to be visible. It's like, oh, and that's what I thought would have been happening here too, where it's like, you can't have an unattended live stream. You're playing a VOD of I'm right there. It's like, no, you're playing a VOD of yourself. We literally have the footage. We can compare it. We know you're not actually live. You're not interacting with chat. You're not doing any of those things.
Although I have to say, I do hope, while certainly playing a VOD and pretending it's live is no bueno, I hope that the idea of, like, the thing that we've done sometimes, playing a video, I hope that doesn't get sort of caught up in the net of banning or of trying to crack down on this kind of stuff, because the idea of playing a pre-recorded thing as part of a live stream or as a live stream is valuable.
Yeah, and I think, but we've always done it where, like, it's part of Loading Ready Live. So there's like a 20-minute interlude of us showing a video that we've obviously done, but then before and after we're clearly like, and now check out this thing. So it's not like we're just showing the video and that's the only thing going on. And even when we are like, hey, let's look at all these old videos, we've done it sort of in a watch along style where somebody breaks for commentary.
Yeah.
Or we'll have people in the chat being able to, like, I'm going to chat with people in the chat. It's like, you're actually, you're technically live.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Is I just hope that whatever if they aren't using such a broad net, that it catches some of this legitimate usage.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's because I can imagine we did Road Quest as YouTube premieres.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 45 minutes of a show where we aren't, like, we might be in chat and interacting with people, but it's like, if that was a Twitch thing where we were like, oh, here's 45 minutes of this, that's Road Quest on Loading Ready Live, and it's live right now on Loading Ready Run's Twitch channel. It's live right now. It's like, yeah, but that's a pre-recorded show. Like, you're just literally showing a pre-recorded show. It's like, yes, but we were in chat talking with people and being a part of the whole experience and using it as a premiere. And it's like, weighing those things are also problems too. Playing back a 5-hour VOD of yourself live so you can make the ad revenue and get viewers and still hand out codes and shit like that. And it's just like, anyway.
Yeah. All right, next story. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has released its Season 3 content update, which adds a new feature called Gunsmith Customs. And I can't figure out why. And I don't mean I can't figure out why you would add oh, sorry, 1 second. Excuse me. And I can't figure out why. And I don't mean I can't figure out why you would add new gun customization options to a game that already lets you customize guns. What I mean is, what the hell is the point? I mean, that it kind of is what that first sentence says. You see, Kotaku's subheadline reads, "Combine your blueprints for the ultimate weapon," and that got me curious because I've played a lot of video games with a lot of ultimate weapons. But according to the article, Custom Gunsmith Customs lets you mix and match blueprints. Neat, except you can't mix an assault rifle with a shotgun. You can only mix and match blueprints for the same kind of gun, but hey, maybe that means I can make this cool spread gun from Contra or the chicken gun from Ratchet and Clank. Maybe, I can't tell. Well, I've read the article 6 times, and as far the only thing I can figure out is that you can take assault rifle parts that are pink, and here's the innovation. Use them with assault rifle parts that are blue. Is that all the ultimate weapon is? A gun that is pink but also blue? Or is it me for giving a shit about Call of Duty?
Yeah, this was one of those very disappointing. When I mark stories for CheckPoint, obviously the headlines, catch your interest, and you sort of go, oh, hey, maybe there's something there. And so I saw this, and it was like, new Call of Duty allows you to make ultimate weapons, and I was like, ooh, you can combine different things together. You're going to be able to make all sorts of crazy guns. And then I read the article, and it was like, oh, that's less cool than I thought it would be. And I thought that maybe there's something there in terms of the story. Maybe because you can combine more things together than you could previously. But I quite like this take on it, where it's just like, it's amazing innovation. Like, you can put pink guns and blue guns components together in the real world. That's not cool. I want to make fancy guns that I can't have in the real world.
Yeah, that was kind of when I was reading it, I was trying to figure out what is the point of being excited about this? And that's what I couldn't figure out. I'm like, I don't understand what the point is. You can already customize your guns in this game, so why is gun customization so cool? It's like, well, now you can combine your blueprints, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And it's like, for the ultimate weapon, I'm like, oh, cool, okay, so I guess. And then you find out it's like, no, you don't get to weld 10 guns together and make the ultimate gun, right? You can use this pink part and you can use this blue part, and now you have a pink and blue gun. And it's very, like, who gives a shit? Like, why get excited about that? Why is anybody excited about that? And I'm like, it's kind of disingenuous for Kotaku to have combine your blueprints for the ultimate weapon when the ultimate weapon is just the same kind of gun you can already have, but now you can have it in a rainbow of colors. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So that's where it left me.
And now that I think about it, why it seems weird that you couldn't do that before. Like, why couldn't you combine the thing? Is there some sort of like gun DRM that you had to like? I'm sorry, those two things are not. You have to buy a license for the pink gun.
I'm just waiting for like Armatech to hear that they've done this and be like, no, we're suing you. You can't use our multicolored guns. That's an Armatech exclusive. Putting a pink stock with something with a blue barrel. That's something that only we can do to our AR-15s. You can't do that.
I don't know if somebody in the chat is a big Modern Warfare fan that can explain why this is such a big innovation. But
because it just sounds like skinning. Like,
I really want one of those. I want a gun with like 5 different rails on it and like 3 night sights and a sniper rifle and on top and a shotgun underneath and a flamethrower on it for some reason. CD-ROM drive. I don't know. Guitar.
Can I read you a slightly alternate take on that story, just to make it a little bit shorter, with a slightly different punchline?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has released its Season 3 content update, which adds a new feature called Gunsmith Customs. So why would you add new gun customization options to a game that already lets you customize a gun? Well, according to Kotaku's subheadline, you can combine your blueprints for the ultimate weapon. And that got me curious because I've played a lot of video games with a lot of ultimate weapons. Neat! Except you can't mix an assault rifle blueprint with a shotgun blueprint. You can only mix and match parts from the same type of gun. But hey, maybe that means I can make the cool spread gun from Contra or the chicken gun from Ratchet and Clank? Maybe? I can't tell. Look, I read this article 6 times, as far as and the only thing I know is that you can take assault rifle parts that are pink, and here's the innovation: use them with a gun with blue parts. Is that all the ultimate weapon is? A gun that is pink but also blue? Is the big news here that gun gender reveals are going to get real confusing? I don't know.
I mean, there are other colors of guns other than pink and blue. But yes. It's like, do you really need blueprints for that? Like, if you've got a gun that's pink or a gun that's blue, and you're like, I want a handle for it that's the same color. It's like, but I have this blueprint for a pink handle. Do you think you could adapt it for a blue handle? No, no. You have to write it. You have to make a whole new blueprint for that. Oh, you see, there's also black and gray, and black. Probably camo. I don't know. All right. Let's talk about what other stories stories that might or probably won't actually be in the episode of CheckPoint, but still thought were silly. I see there's some Animal Crossing extra stuff here.
Oh yeah. So Beej told us about this last night. The Animal Crossing New Horizons strategy guide in Japanese. Like, to describe it as a phone book would be disingenuous, because modern phone books have reduced our expectations of how thick a phone book is.
This is over 1,000 pages for the Japanese strategy guide.
It's a brick.
It's and what's cool is that unlike a phone book, it's actually got tabbed color spaces along the side, so you can easily find the section you want to flip to, which is great because it's massive.
It's 1,000 pages.
Yeah, it's so big.
Look at the size of this lad.
How much do you think that would cost?
How much would you pay?
No, not that, because there are people who have already bought this. This has been sold out, so there are people who are already selling it at inflated prices elsewhere. How much do you think a strategy guide this size would you pay for this? Or
equivalent of $40.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? $40-$50.
Wow.
It was $16.90.
What?
Yeah.
How do you even get paper for that cheap?
Yeah, that's there's like 2 reams of paper in this. Yeah, a ream is 500 sheets usually. So yeah.
It is only the only link they have to it is through amazon.co.jp, and if you don't have a Japanese Amazon account, you cannot buy it for yourself. Even though they will ship to Canada, if you don't have that account, you can't get it.
It's also like a strategy guide is supposed to be for, making it so that you can play the game faster and more efficiently. If you have to read a 1,000-page book before you can play the game faster, I feel like if you would use that time that you spent reading the book just playing Animal Crossing, wouldn't you be a lot farther ahead?
There's a lot of there's a lot of interesting reference stuff because it's items and like fish and bugs and stuff. That's what makes up most of the book. So it's like, if you want to know what all the color variants are for a certain type of item, because like you can get a cello, but you can get a cello in like a bunch of different colors. You can get a fax machine in a bunch of different colors. If you want to know how much a fish goes for, any particular fish, well, we have the guide that shows you how much the Nooks will pay for a fish, how much the Cell Box pays for a fish, and how much CJ will pay for a fish.
I feel this is just like a wiki that's been printed.
Yeah, that's really
like this would be more useful as a web page.
Yeah, really.
I like reading books for reference. I find it because you can
But you could like search.
Yeah. But this is, to have this sitting next to me,
and the numbers would be updated when they actually update in the game, which they probably, instead of having to have like supplemental books printed.
You wouldn't buy a supplement, Paul. You would buy the second edition of the book later on. That's how textbooks work.
Yeah.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah, that's the thing. This is going to be like the required textbook for a future Animal Crossing university level course.
More Animal Crossing news, actually. Weirdly, Queer Eye has now started giving Animal Crossing advice. Rather, the interior designer, Bobby Burke from Queer Eye, is saying things like cute and nice to people posting their interiors of their houses on Twitter, and is there to offer like some there's like one tweet where Bobby offered actual advice, which it was like, oh, you might try putting a sofa over here or making a cute little sitting area or something on the other side of that screen. But mostly it's just been like, that's real cool, or, you know, those kind of things. And I'm like, oh, all right, that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, people were sort of. I think people were expecting it to be like, oh, okay, get your Animal Crossing island critiqued by the guy from Queer Eye, and get it torn apart or whatever. But it turns out he was mostly just being like, awesome, great job. Oh man, that looks so good. You're just being really nice.
Positive.
Yeah, which is nice.
Speaking of positive Animal Crossing streams, Dabs, we do an Animal Crossing stream on this channel. We do it Sunday afternoon. So tune into that if you want to see more islands.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't give any critiques or anything. That mostly it's just like, this is amazing, beautiful, right? Like, how can you critique? Like, it's your thing. Like, if you don't like it, that's great. Make your own island what you want. Don't tell other people what to do with their islands. You know.
I mean, I think you've described critique like in the real world as well. Mm-hmm. And yet we have people who do that. So
yeah,
clearly it is possible.
I mean, if somebody really wanted to like get like some animal, like if somebody was really like actually like, could you give me some advice? I guess I could, but like that assumes that you think that what I think looks good also looks good, right? I can tell you how to do what I think looks good, right? But
yeah. Polygon did a good little video actually on interior design, where they contacted an interior designer and was like, here's some ideas for how you, and the actual ideas for things like move your shit away from the walls, make zones, cut pieces of your room into other areas, so you use rugs as a way to denote where a zone should be. Like, that's really interesting. Okay.
Don't line your furniture up around the outside of the wall, even though that's the most space efficient. Move things in, add some depth. Add things like 2 or 3 items deep, even coming out from the wall, just to fill up those corners and stuff like that, and make it feel more like a room.
Yeah, don't be like, well, I would have a bunch of books sitting out, or I would have dishes on the table. I'd have all these things. It's like, you would if you were constantly doing those things, right? If you were constantly eating, you would probably always have dishes on your table. But you're not. In real life, you take your dishes out, you eat off your dishes, and then you either put them in the sink or you put them in the dishwasher, or you get them out of your eating space generally.
Yes. You definitely don't just leave dishes on the table.
Well, you don't leave your table set. Like, you don't like eat and then like, okay, great, I'm done eating. Now to remove my dishes and now set my table for the rest of the day so I can come back in 6 hours.
I certainly don't just have dishes on my desk.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
They need a sink that you can just pile more and more dishes in, is what they need in this game.
I know. You use plates. Hey, now, so here's Kathleen's actual tip. I got these plates at the Bay, which is kind of a Canadian department store, because every so often the Bay will do things, and like all department stores will do this. They'll put something that's normally very expensive and totally stupidly overpriced, like fine bone china dish sets, on incredibly steep discount, because normally these are the kinds of things that go up on wedding registries. And this, I got myself, like, I think a service for 8, with like small plates, big plates, 2 sizes of bowls, cups, saucers, which I don't use because who wants to use a tiny teacup and saucer? They're just sitting in storage. And normally that retails for like $800, because it's designed to go onto wedding registries and trick rich elderly relatives into buying them for young people. And who needs that? But
what
occasionally, did you pay? 170 with tax for that many dishes, and in like good quality is just a good deal.
Yeah.
Same
with pots and pans.
Yeah.
Never ever buy your pots and pans. Buy them at Christmas or after Christmas when they go on sale.
I think I got mine in January.
Yeah, because they usually have too many, so they always try to push them out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you want stuff like that, I mean, the best place to, like, if you can, and dishes are hard to find used, but if you can find them at consignment stores, like somebody has a nice set of dishes and then they go into a care home or pass away, And consignment stores in like the neighborhoods where rich elderly people congregate are like the best places to go hunting for household goods.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah, and you should buy bone china. It sounds like, oh, that sounds really fancy. It's not. Bone china is only called that because it has a lot of bone ash in it,
And
and
you know what?
that makes it strong and
It's
light.
very strong and very durable. It's probably because like I am a plate chipper and a dish chipper, and I haven't had these for that long, but I definitely probably already would have chipped a bunch of these.
Didn't
But
Graham like drop one the day you got him home?
yes,
Yes.
And
And
it was
nothing
like-
happened.
like and I was like, well, we got service for 8, so like that's fine, but it was okay.
Yeah.
So anyhow, you'd have to really. So that's my tip: is if you want to improve your household goods, try to buy the goods of dead people.
And if not, have dead
Had
people
more
baked
money
into your
too.
goods.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Good to know.
Or just search for sales. Retail.
Hey.
The retail price is always a suggestion.
Speaking of games that have the initials AC and dead people, Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is going to be the new thing. It's going to be Vikings, I guess, which I don't know. As somebody who is a big fan of the Assassin's Creed series, this is my skeptical face.
Really?
I don't know. Like, do we really like? I don't know.
Like,
Vikings,
judging
not
from the
Vikings,
thing, you're
not known for their extremely stealthy killing.
I will give them that nobody in the key art is wearing horned helmets, so that's an improvement.
Mm-hmm. I mean, think of it this way, Paul. You get to do the sailing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, it seems like it'd be fun. It's just, I feel like they're at a point now where it could be a cool game, but it's like, how far removed does it have to be before it's just like, why call it an Assassin's Creed game at this point? Like,
Look,
and why does the Assassins, like the Assassins Guild versus Templars aspect of the game has gotten so sort of changed from what it was originally and sort of downplayed that it's like, why even bother at this point?
Well, here's what I like. I actually am kind of hyped for this because what the Vikings the Vikings did a lot of things, but what they also did was brutally invaded England and took over huge swaths of it. So that could be fun, as like coming around York and like raiding villagers and stuff like that.
I mean, I just finished playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is the one that takes place in London, which was quite fun. It was actually pretty good. I recommend it if you've played a bunch of the other Assassin's Creed games. It's Assassin's Creed if you like it.
Oh, apparently that's just the plot from the trailer, Kathleen. Sick. Ooh, I wonder how much of.
Apparently, it's pretty. I mean, the new wave Assassin's Creed games of Odyssey and Origins are all sort of open world and stuff, and ostensibly this is even more open. Not even like the world is even bigger, which I don't know if I'm totally into. The world in Assassin's, like, I haven't even played Odyssey. Like, I haven't played the most recent one. But I know, like, in Assassin's Creed Origins, the world was possibly too big. Because it takes place in you're in Egypt and stuff. And by the end of the game, there were about 3 areas, like, sections of the map that had names that I had not explored, that I had never been to, and you never have to go to, and there is nothing there. It's just desert, which I guess is accurate in the sense of there's a large swaths of desert, but it just seems dumb from a video game perspective to just have like, it's like the world is so big, yeah, but a lot of it is desert and there's nothing there. There's literally nothing there. It's just sand dunes.
Bet there's something cool hidden in the middle of it.
No, there isn't.
Just like the real desert, if you go there, there's nothing cool hidden in the middle of the real desert. You might think there is, but that's a mirage.
They use some of them later on to put like some of the like freaky extra bosses in, but even then there was still giant swaths that you never go to for no, and there's like just like nothing there. There's no reason to go to, and it's just like, huh, okay, that's cool. So I don't know if Odyssey is the same, but anyway. But I'm all for more sailing because I think Black Flag is still probably my favorite, and not just because they sing sea shanties.
Well, I feel like then you're going to be into sailing up the rivers of northeastern of well, I guess the what will become England in many hundreds of years. And showing what for to a bunch of Roman ancestors or Roman descendants.
At least we don't. We haven't. I'm glad they don't. They didn't keep going backwards. Like at a certain point, it was like Assassin's Creed Origins was in Egypt, and then Odyssey was in ancient Greece. So they were like, this has all the before the Origins, and it's like at a certain point, it's like okay. Seriously, the assassins should not be around at this point. We're now like a million years before the origins of the assassins. Why are there assassins around?
Maybe. Stay with me, Paul. Assassin's Creed Australopith. Maybe.
Then again, later on in the Assassin's Creed world, the assassins apparently have just completely given up being secret, and they like have flags with their logos on them everywhere. Everyone's just like walking around with logos, with like it's like wow, for a secret organization, you guys are really about branding.
Just little pins. I'm an assassin. Ask me how.
Yeah.
Weird connected Animal Crossing thing. I just think is funny. That there's a character named Vic in Animal Crossing. He's a cranky bull villager, and Vic obviously is short for Viking because he looks like a Viking.
Is that just because he has horns?
Well, because they give him a helmet and then he has horns that look like they're coming out of the helmet, and maybe they're his real horns, maybe they're not. Who knows? But his Japanese name really got me because his Japanese name is Norman. Nice. And I'm like, that's way fucking funnier than Vic. I wish they just called him Norman.
Norman's a good name for an assassin.
The Normans were French, though.
Yeah, but they were French Vikings, right? They
True.
came over from Norway, and it's funny because when you look at the entry on the Animal Crossing wikis, it's like the Nor in his Japanese name refers to Norse or Norway, and I'm like, no, Norman refers to the Normans who were Norse Vikings.
Norman sounds like a good Animal Crossing name too.
It does.
Like Vic. Vic seems a little like, I don't know, modern.
Too cool?
Yeah, too cool and kind of modern. Whereas Norman is like, I can imagine a cute little Animal Crossing villager named Norman.
So, hey, speaking of just like killing time with friends and fishing, right?
Yeah.
Which is something we're all doing in Animal Crossing. Soon you'll be able to, or now you can do that in Fortnite.
Yeah.
You can fish?
Fortnite has a new game mode, Party Royale. It's a small island map, and there's no building or shooting. You just fish and do time trials and hang out. There's like a soccer field and vending machines dispense like paintball guns and like paint grenades and tomatoes, and they're all free. You can fish. You can do like glider time trials. There's a zip line. Apparently there's like a place for like there's a movie theater and like a concert venue and stuff like that.
You can play soccer?
Yeah,
it's just hang out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
literally what they were saying. Like what Epic's been saying is like we want this to be the game where you can play anything.
Yeah.
The funny thing is it's like almost all of these things were in Fortnite anyway. Like you could play soccer I don't know if you could fish, but you could like play soccer. You could go on zip lines. All this stuff was in Fortnite anyway, but you were playing it in the context of this battle royale thing. So you'd be like having a soccer game, and then somebody would just come by and gank you because there's people who are still fighting.
Yeah.
Whereas now you could just hang out. It's turning Fortnite into like, I don't know, Second Life, Habbo Hotel. I don't know. Like they're just turning it into like a just
Ready
like
Player One.
hangout chat space.
Yeah. Yeah,
This is super
basically.
cool.
I mean, there's no user created content, so it's not really Second Life, I guess. But yeah,
No
it's
one's
just,
figured out how to have sex in Fortnite yet, is what you're telling me.
I mean, I'm not going to say that.
Oh God,
I haven't played Fortnite enough to know whether that is a thing that's been worked out yet.
Yeah. Basically, it's just sort of a chill hangout space for people to like connect virtually. So like kind of the same way people would like hang around Minecraft or Animal Crossing or any of these other multiplayer games. And I think people were kind of already doing that in Fortnite, but like, you know, I think this is to give people a dedicated area for that.
I really wish they'd just, instead of Party Royale, they'd called it Teen Center.
It is. It's kind of like the online equivalent of a teen hangout.
It sure is.
Well, and presumably this would also tie into the like in-game concert stuff that they were been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Apparently that Travis Scott concert was just off the hook, just with like wild graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
Penny Arcade did a comic about it even. So I guess you could probably watch a replay of it, but I guess that wouldn't. It's not the same.
and this is gonna sound like the musical stuff. I don't find Travis Scott's music very interesting. Like it's not bad, but it doesn't hold my attention. So that's okay.
That's
Oh,
fine.
I thought Travis Scott. Travis Scott sounds like the name of a country western singer. And now I've just seen who Travis Scott is. I'm like, oh, that is not a country western.
He's a very popular hip hop artist.
I see. I see.
I think we arrived last week that he's A tier, but lower A tier. Not Beyonce A tier, but definitely sort of, you know.
He's the hip happening thing right now.
Yes.
I see.
A minus tier is what people were saying in chat.
Trials of Mana, if you want to check that out. You can't at the moment. So, haha. So the demo for it was on Steam, but it turns out that you could download the full version. If you got the files for the full version of the game, you could then install the demo and use the demo to unlock. Like basically, the demo would load the files from the full version of the game, and so you would just be like, "I'm playing the demo, except I have all the levels."
The thing that I'd read too is that the full version files that people were getting access to were from a pirated version of the game, and it also meant that if you played through the whole game unlocked, like exploited in this way, the end credits would crash the game. But then they found a workaround for that. So it's like there's been heavy iteration on unlocking the game and not having to pay for it. So it wasn't like we found a key gen so you could type in the serial code. It's like literally somebody pirated the game, made a bunch of files available, and said, now just plug this into the demo because that's already been authorized on your account. Now you have the full game. And
Oops.
Square Enix was like, that sucks.
Yeah. So this is the problem when you make the demo just the full game, but cut
Trials
off
of Mana is the 3D Engine remake of the original Trials of Mana.
It's a combination of, if you've played Trials HD, it's
Okay.
similar to that, except with the Secret of Mana characters.
Yeah. The collection of Mana has the original Trials of Mana, I guess. The Seiken Densetsu 3, I think is what it's called. Anyway.
That's not actually true. I would definitely play that game. Sorry, Trials HD is like a motorbike racing game.
Oh, right. I thought you meant like Trials of Mana HD, which would have come on the thing. It's like, you're just shortening the name, right? That's what you're doing? No, you got me. Yeah. So Square Enix pulled the demo, and now you can't get the demo, and
Presumably
I don't
it'll
know.
come back fairly quickly, but
Yeah.
did
God, why my
did you
camera hates me?
did you start torrenting?
No, I didn't. I'm gonna have a look though. No, I've paused everything. It's just all of a sudden my camera hates me.
Anyway,
Uh,
this is in more virtual sports news. There's going to be a Mario Tennis tournament with including Serena and Venus Williams, as well as a bunch of other tennis pros and also video game pros and just regular celebrity types. I believe John McEnroe is going to be doing commentary.
Wow. Looks like you got Serena Williams and Gigi Hadid, who's a model, Naomi Osaka, who's like probably the biggest up and coming tennis star right now, and Hailey Bieber, who I believe is Justin Bieber's wife. Venus Williams and DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know who DeAndre Hopkins is. Kei Nishikori and Steve Aoki, who's a terrible DJ. And how does he keep getting work?
DeAndre Hopkins is a American football wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals of the National Football League.
Okay. He's a sportsman.
Yeah.
Madison Keys and Seal.
I don't know who Madison Keys is. I'm assuming that's a tennis person.
And a Seal.
Baby.
Kevin Anderson.
He plays tennis. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bunch of tennis pros and a bunch of people who aren't tennis pros having a doubles Mario Tennis match.
Clearly playing an amateur game because they'll probably have no idea how to play this game properly. I wonder if they'll ban the super shots.
I love the idea of it. It's like, come on, Serena Williams. Don't you know how to play this? Get in the game. It's one of those like, the Last Starfighter kind of things, being like, I mean, you're so good at tennis. Why can't you play this game? I feel like the accuracy of this is probably not up to the same standard as say the racing games.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. They the cool thing is that everyone is getting money for participating to go to a charity of their choice, and then the winners of the tournament get an additional $1 million to donate to the charity of their choice as well. So a bunch of charities are going to be benefiting from this anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody's getting the real big payday, and it's all couched under COVID-19 relief. But I don't know what all the charities are because it doesn't really make it clear in the article who everybody is playing for.
Right.
Yeah, it could be local food banks, it could be Red Cross, it could be Doctors Without Borders, it could be like a research facilities. Who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And last, and probably least, given the success of this platform thus far, there's some more problems with Google Stadia. It's apparently its PUBG port it has some problems. It's got a lot of bots, which is supposed to be so they can fill out, but the bots are very bad. They are poor quality. So
You can just notice them immediately, kind of thing.
Yeah. So basically, let me just so I'm just reading the article here. Apparently, the from the Ars Technica, the author entered a less popular pre-battle lobby with only one apparent human rival. Because you can tell that because when you're in a battle lobby, bots don't do anything, but humans will run around. And then so he's like, okay, how many bots will I see?
98?
98, apparently.
It's so there's. I remember probably a year or two ago when the PUBG mobile client first came out. there was slight controversy about that people's games, especially when they first installed it, their games were being seeded with bots, basically to make them feel better. Because the problem with Battle Royale is you have 100 people, only one person can win. So you have 99 people who lose, which kind of sucks. And so they had games that were filled with, not filled completely, but at least large chunks of them were bots to make you feel better, that they were easy to kill than real people. And then as you went along, the number of bots would go down and down and down. Which meant that you sort of were given like an inflated sense of how good you are at the game. Which could cause problems.
I mean, I could use that, Paul, because I suck at PUBG.
But I don't think it was ever this bad, where there was literally only one other actual person in the game.
Yeah. Then the author did another game where they were the only human player.
Wow.
So apparently, basically, the bots are not programmed very well. They'll be like running around, they'll go into the poison gas cloud, they sort of just like shoot random sprays of bullets and run directly at you. But I mean, the thing is, the author did in fact get shot by a bot. So then he got to watch two bots very inaccurately try to shoot each other to determine who the winner would be.
Wow. Yeah. What's neat, I remember a story a little while ago. So Fortnite does this too. Like it's a common thing, especially with these battle royale games. You need 100 people to fire a game, right? Which can be difficult. And so the idea of filling up extra slots in a game if it's been sitting in the lobby for too long is a thing that's been happening. And it's not necessarily bad. But something awesome that started happening in Fortnite is real people, started pretending to be bots to lull other people into a false sense of security. And so they would be like, so a real person started acting like looking at the ground or not changing their weapon in the way that a bot or a real person would, and sort of emulating bot behavior, and then suddenly turning around and killing you. Which is one of those great sort of emergent gameplay things, which I think is pretty awesome.
I feel like PUBG, by the way, as they say, is not like, it's the Stadia version that has this problem because there's very few people, because you have to hook up a gamepad to join a PS4 or Xbox queue. You can't just natively do that to, avoid this problem. So it's the Stadia issue. But apparently the game also reached 500,000 concurrent players on Steam the other day, which is very high for a paid game. So, it's not that PUBG is dying. It's just that the Stadia version is very bad, and you should not do it.
Although I believe PUBG is free on Stadia.
It is free on Stadia.
You have to have Stadia, which is, I think, currently there's like a trial for like a month or 2 months or something. So theoretically, if you really want to play PUBG, you can get Stadia and then get it for free right now.
It's really weird that the position of so there's a letter from PUBG Corp's June H. Choi, who at the end says bots can have both positive or negative effects on a game depending on how well it is programmed. I'm like, isn't that up to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so your bots are bad and they're having a negative effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't just about the concept of bots in general.
No.
This is about a very specific circumstance in your game of bots messing up. It's not just pie in the sky speculation about the concept of bots. Anyway, I think that is all the news that we thought was worth talking about in the video game realm, anyway.
That which grabbed our eyes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for watching. Coming up next, we have LRMTG, where James and Adam are going to be playing the magical cards. I'm assuming Ikoria in some shape or form. And then tonight, I believe we actually have a last minute change here that tonight might not be Tinker Tailor Solder Fry. It might instead be the continuation of the Grim Dawn long
A long distance game.
long distance
Somebody
game.
somebody in chat suggested that, and it's so good.
Long crossing the streams, whatever. Or some sort of stream should be tonight, but I believe unfortunately we're not going to be the previously thought Tinker Tailor Solder Fry. But tomorrow, Graham is going to be continuing and possibly finishing his Final Fantasy VII run. Exactly.
I've been watching it because it's very nostalgic for me, because I think I didn't play Final Fantasy VII when it came out, but like I think I played it a couple years after it came out. So I'm like, and I watched him get a gold Chocobo yesterday, and I was like, this seems considerably faster than when I did it.
Oh, he's got the strategy guide, right? So presumably, if he's at he's already been at the stage where he could beat the game for a while, and Sephiroth is sitting there being like, can we do this? Like, do you have stuff you want to do before I'm just like, here, gonna destroy the world? You could come and stop me at some point, but okay, well, let me know when you're free. But then tomorrow night we have Friday Night Paper Fight, and it will actually be a Friday Night Paper Fight with paper, because we're going to be doing Commander via video chat thing, which we've done once before, and it was quite successful, I think. And so we're going to try that again. We've got Ben Wheeler and Serge and Kathleen and Ben Ulmer, and going to be doing some Commander stuff. So that should be cool. And then on Sunday, so nothing on Saturday at the moment, but on Sunday, it's going to be Kathleen's Island Tour. We're going to be looking at some more Animal Crossing New Horizons stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing islands from friends, and so we'll have like a nice Discord hangout, chitty chat, going to do things. I am preparing amusements as we speak for this island tour. And if you are interested in showing off your island and you think it's cool and you've got some neat stuff you want to show off, check out the Lure Discord. It's discord.gg/LRR. We've got almost 10,000 people, and there's a very active Animal Crossing channel. And you can, who's joining you in chat? I think we're going to have, I'm still lining it up to make sure. It'll be Cameron for sure, and then other friends. Oh, we did actually cross 10K, says MTVCDM. Congratulations. But anyhow, you can check the Animal Crossing channel in Discord. And what I'm going to do is, after this, is I'm going to put up a little Google survey. And if you're interested in having us come to your island and look around, I would love it if you could fill that out. And then I will draw some people randomly from them who put in their names for the survey. And we will come see you. We have 2 open slots this week. And I would love to see your cool islands and steal ideas. I mean, look at your cool islands.
And then later on Sunday, we have Rhythm Cafe. I don't know what Heather and Ian are going to be playing, but I'm sure it'll be cool. I saw one of the stories. I didn't mark it because it wasn't actually like a story, but I saw a preview for there's a new game it's like a first-person shooter, but you have to shoot to the rhythm of a thing that is going to be coming out at some point soon, which should be, it'll be coming out at some point. Should be interesting. And then on Monday, going to be more Dice Friends with Farmer McFarmson's Farm in Toon and so forth. So lots of cool stuff coming up in the next little while. As always, keep an eye on loadingreadyrun.com/live. It's going to be the place for all the schedule. and with keep an eye on that. Things might be a little more variable these days than they are previously. But so any changes will be on the schedule or on the calendar, which is linked to from that page as well. Mm-hmm. And we are now going to be welcoming all the amazing people. And I also wanted to say I'm super excited because speaking of milestones, we are over 10,000 on the Discord. We are currently at 90,001 followers on this channel.
Wow.
So I don't know who was the 90,000th and who was the 90,000th and 1st person, but that is awesome. So thank you very much. And if you can't subscribe to the channel for whatever reason, that's totally understandable. But throw us a follow is always great because then.
And thanks to the 89,999.
That's true.
People who helped make this 90,000 possible.
That's true. It's not just the 90,000.
Building a base on which the Giants can actually stand.
Yeah.
So we want to thank all the amazing people who are supporting us both here on Twitch and on Patreon. Patreon.com/LRR or /LoadingReadyRun, I should say, is that, and the support on Patreon has continued to be totally amazing. Mm-hmm. And also on YouTube with the YouTube memberships, which will be on the youtube.com/LoadingReadyRun channel, which is also where you will see the episode of CheckPoint that is going to be recorded and based on some of the stories that we talked about today.
Yeah.
But
first.
Yes, let's thank all the amazing people who subscribed during this stream. Starting with this person, Bronze Finger, for 75 months, 3/4 of a year in our new world, apparently.
Hey, welcome back, Ash Burnham, who's been here for 56 months.
And extending a big old thank you to Shane Lee Attack, who's been here for 11 months. Thank you.
Wrathclav for 39 months.
Johnny got a gift from the Maricat. Welcome and thank you.
Somewhere in Nanaimo, Johnny is like, whoop.
I've been evaporated.
Somebody said my name 3 times.
Evil Clock. Still write twice a day, 39 months.
Beej, you know what this says?
Quick, Beej, you're a weeb.
Oh, Christ. The first...
This is Chinese, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the first one I think it would be small or little, but then the next 2 are just copies of each other, so it's probably like some sort of like little something, like a diminutive for referring to a person.
The little guy, Gapfiller says.
Yeah, nice.
And shoutouts to Unicode for making that actually work.
Mm-hmm.
And not just give us a bunch of squares.
Croco King has been here 64 months. A perfect square. Welcome back.
Hey, Raziok has been here for 74 months. Thank you very much, Raziok.
Bad Wolf Bay 87 for 2 months. Thank you for coming back.
T-Bread is a brand new sub. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here.
Hey, it's Lord Zorano, who's been here for 61 months. That's just over 5 years. Incredible. Thank you very much.
Tire Worm for 16 months. Get your tires checked for tire worm. It's the #1 cause of tire worm blowouts on the highway.
Ariana Grande. Probably the real one, maybe, then. A gift from the Maricat. Welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see here.
I hope she watches Twitch streams.
Thanks for resubbing.
I feel
You've
like
been here 60 months.
I feel like she probably has lots of need for, relaxing while watching a stream.
I think Ariana Grande can do what she wants. and probably doesn't want to watch our streams, but Cranston Snore does, and he's been here for 27 months. They've been here for 27 months?
Lubig MacD for 33 months. Thank you very much.
Darokin for 74 months. Welcome back. So many months.
Dish KP has been here for 7 months.
Bad Panda Bear. Bad. For 28 months. Or maybe it's like, hey, he's a bad panda bear. All the panda bears are like, man, that panda bear is so bad.
Pink Gunpowder, gifted from the Maricat. Welcome and thank you.
And Nomi77 has been here for 52 months. Thank you very much, Nomi.
Null Cola Ship for 50 months. That 6 years?
No, that would be 60. 60 is
60.
5 years.
60 is 5 years. 50 is not a particular number of years.
It's
But
4
it is
years and
still-
2 months.
It is still a large number. It's in fact half a metric year.
That's right. Tagrith has been here for 39 months. Welcome back.
Immoral Ethicist has been here for 40 months.
Nate the Pancake for 2 months. Thank you for coming back.
Travis Scott, official. That must be the official Travis Scott. Has been gifted from the Maricat as well. Welcome, Travis, and thank you,
Thank
Maricat.
you, Maricat.
I mean, it says it right there. It's got to be official.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marlene Spike 19 has been here for 24 months. Thank you very much.
2 years.
Calaveth for 62 months. Thank you very much.
Grand 2 has been here for 2 months. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back.
Under Cree has been under Cree for 3 months.
Maybe Cree could get off.
Yeah.
Thandrez. Or TH and Rez. For 37 months. Thank you very much.
Volt Prime is a brand new sub. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy it here.
And that's it.
Yay! Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. We're going to be going away, but in about 20 minutes, LRRMTG is going to be there. So it's going to be here, I should say. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, see you. We will.
And now ads.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the ads.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.